Greetings, my math Padawans. This is Rational Functions. More on that. Section 7.3, Multiplying and Dividing Rational Expressions. In this lesson, we're going to focus on division of rational expressions. As I told you before, the most important thing is to remember is that you always factor first. Yes, even with division problems, you're going to factor first. And of course, just like dividing fractions, we want to always change our division of fractions problems into multiplying by the reciprocal, as illustrated here in this property. Let's take a look at an example problem to help you out with this. So here we have 7 over x plus 1 divided by x plus 2 over 2x minus 3. So first thing, factor first. But wait, looks like the tops and the bottoms of all of these fractions are already factored as much as they can be. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this division problem into a multiplication problem. So we'll take 7 over x plus 1 and we'll multiply by the reciprocal, 2x minus 3 over x plus 2. See how I did a little switcheroony there. And now I look to see, just like I did in those last problems I did last night, is there anything that I can cancel out? Is there anything that can be simplified? And, well, no, there's not. There's nothing here that cancels that's on the top and on the bottom. So I can simply rewrite this as 14x minus 21 over x plus 1 times x plus 2. Now, you could keep the top as 7 times the quantity of 2x minus 3. That's completely okay. Doesn't matter here. Remember what the other thing that we were talking about in the lesson? We were looking for restrictions. And restrictions are any time the denominator is equal to 0. So I want to look back here. I want to look back in this step. And if I look back in that step right there, I will see that x can't equal -1 and x can't equal -2. But when I'm doing a division problem, I also have to look all the way back here in the original problem. I need to get that one additional one that I'm going to get, and that would give me x can't equal 3 over 2. And all I did was I took 2x minus 3, set that equal to 0, and made sure that that's what x cannot be. So these are my restrictions. All right, let's do another problem. 11x over 3x minus 9 divided by x squared minus 5x over x squared minus 8x plus 5, 15. So, as you can see, we have a lot of factoring to do in this problem. So let's get to factoring. So we have 11x over, can pull out the GCF of 3, so that turns into x minus 3 on the bottom, divided by, on the top, x times x minus 5, another GCF that I have going on here. Ooh, that quadratic on the bottom. Numbers that multiply together to give me 15, add together to give me -8, -5, and -3. Now, you might be tempted to switch this into a multiplication problem early. I would encourage you not to, and I'll tell you why here when we get to the end of the problem. So we'll rewrite this next step, and we'll multiply by the reciprocal. Let's see, we got x minus 5 times x minus 3 on the top, and x times x minus 5 on the denominator. And now let's look to see if we can figure out what cancels. Let's see here. These x minus 3s cancel. These x minus 5s cancel. Ooh, that x and that x cancel. Well, now look there. The only thing I'm left with is 11 thirds. Amazing. That whole fraction there at the beginning divides down into 11 thirds. But let's take a look at the restrictions. The restrictions. And where do I look? Well, I'm going to look right here. I'm going to look right here, and I'm going to look at each one of the parentheses. So right there, I see x can't equal 3. Right there, I'll see x can't equal 0. Right there will tell me x cannot equal positive 5. But I also have to look up here at this step. And I get an additional one, right? There's my x can't equal 5, but I get an additional one. X can't equal 3. Wait a minute. I actually already wrote that. So I don't need to rewrite either of those because they were already down here in my list of restrictions. So there are all my restrictions. Okay, one more problem. 6x squared plus 4x minus 2 over 5x squared divided by 2x squared plus 2x. Okay, well, factor first. So I'm going to go ahead and factor the top. Let's see here. How do I factor 6x squared plus 4x minus 2? I see a GCF. I see a GCF of 2. So I'm going to pull out that GCF of 2, and I'll have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 over, can't really factor that 5x squared at all, divided by, I'm going to go ahead and write that as a fraction. Remember, anything over 1 I can turn into a fraction. So that'll turn into 2x times x plus 1. I can go ahead and pull out that GCF. Okay, back to the top here. That 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, can I factor that? Well, again, I could go into the x box thing like we had talked about in the past, or I can simply know that that factors down to 3x minus 1 times x plus 1. Maybe a little trial and error. I'm not sure where you're at with your factoring quadratics in that form, but take the time, you got to do it. And then I'm going to turn that into a multiplication by the reciprocal. So 1 over 2x times x plus 1. Now start to look for the things that can cancel out. Like, for example, the x plus 1s cancel. And that looks like that's about it. Doesn't look like there's anything. Oh, wait, the 2's. Almost forgot the 2's. They can cancel out as well. Now, that is everything that can cancel out on the top and the bottom. So that'll give me 3x minus 1 on the top over, well, let's hear x times 5x squared. That'll give me 5x to the third power. Okay, now let's look for my restrictions. And I'll look right here at my restrictions. So right there, I get that x can't equal 0. Same thing there, that x can't equal 0. And right there, x can't equal negative 1. I should also go back to this step right here and look at this. Well, okay, 1 doesn't equal, so I'm not going to worry about that. So there are my restrictions right there. X can't equal 0, and x can't equal negative 1. All right, folks, now it's the time for you to try a couple. So go ahead, pause the video right now, and try these two problems. And of course, you know I'm going to show you how to work through these two problems here in a second. So go ahead, pause the video, try them out. Don't forget to state your restrictions. We'll go over them in a few seconds. Okay, let's take a look at number 8 here. So 4x over 5x minus 20 divided by x squared minus 2x over x squared minus 6x plus 8. Of course, the first thing we're going to do is factor. So we got, let's see, 4x over the GCF on the bottom of x minus 4, divided by on the top another GCF, so x minus 2 is left over. And then on the bottom, the numbers that multiply together to give me 8 add together to give me negative 6. Let's see, that would be negative 4 and negative 2. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to change our division problem into a multiplication problem. Please notice I am not canceling anything out until after I multiply by the reciprocal. So that's really important. We don't want to cancel things too early. Sometimes that leads to bad mistakes and bad math. So the x minus 2's cancel. The x minus 4's cancel. The x's cancel. Once again, the only thing I'm left with is this nice fraction of 4/5. All right, what about restrictions? Well, I'll look here. Let's hear. That right there will tell me x can't equal 4. That will tell me x can't equal 0. That tells me x can't equal 2. I'll go up here into this step as well and look here. Well, there's x can't equal 4. We already got that one. And there's x can't equal 2, and we already got that one. So here are all of my restrictions. All right, last one. 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 over 6x. Divided by 2x squared plus 5x. Okay, first things first, I'm going to factor the top. And again, this might be a step where you go over and you do Xbox, or you figure out exactly how to factor that. That does factor down to 2x plus 5 times x minus 1. On the denominator is 6x. We'll divide that by, let's see, I'll factor out the GCF of x, and I'm left with 2x plus 5 over 1. I now will change this into my multiplying by the reciprocal problem. So here we go. Multiplying by 1 over x times 2x plus 5. And we'll look to see what cancels. Let's see, we got the 2x minus 5's cancel. And that's it. See, look, if you would have canceled early, before we changed it into a multiplication problem, you may have been tempted to cancel out these 2x. You don't want to do that. You don't want to cancel out early. So make sure you change it into the multiplication problem before you simplify. I can't emphasize that enough. Anyways, my final answer is x minus 1 over 6x squared. Now, what about those restrictions? X can't equal. Well, that's here, right there. We go back to this step, right there. X can't equal 0. Again, x can't equal 0 if we look at that parenthesis. We have this 2x plus 5. I can real quick solve that in my head and end up with x can't equal negative 2 over 5. And I go back here to this step, and I look here. X can't equal, well, 1 can't equal 0? That doesn't make any sense, so that doesn't give me any more restrictions. There are all my restrictions, and of course my answer. All right, folks, if you have any questions, make sure you ask them when I see you in class. Otherwise, good luck, folks. Talk soon.